Okay, we are recording now. Good evening, everybody. My name is Seema Gandhi. I'm the coordinator of PFAA. I'm so excited to have all of you here. The purpose of the meeting today is to do a Schoology training and to provide some support in Schoology. And the focus of this training is to really give you an overview of what Schoology looks like, what you should be finding in Schoology. Please understand that we are refining Schoology on a daily basis to make it more presentable for our families. So things are changing on the regular. I have our teaching and learning director here with me, Ms. Burial. She will be doing our presentation. Ms. Burial, if you can do a quick introduction before we get started.
Sure. Hi, I'm Laura Burial, and I'm the Teaching and Learning Director, which means that I work with all 5 of the academies and support the teachers in their work. And let's see, I am also a PFAA parent. I have a 10th grader, so I get to take a look at things from in Schoology, all different sides. So hopefully that experience will help us out here if you have questions.
Thank you. And then I have Ms. Farrell here. She will be helping me monitor the chat box as I continue to admit other families into the meeting. Ms. Farrell, can you do a quick introduction, please?
Hi, yeah, I'm Sharon Farrell. This is my 4th year at PFAA, and I teach mostly freshmen and sophomores with a smattering of juniors and seniors. I teach biology and chemistry.
Thank you. And so just as a reminder for those of you who are just entering that this meeting is being recorded. So if you have any personal questions related specifically to your child's Schoology page, please contact the teacher for that, or contact myself. We don't want to provide any or release any confidential information as the meeting is being recorded. Without further, I'm going to go ahead and actually hand it over to Ms. Burial, who will be running the training for tonight.
Right, and then you'll get the slide deck ready for me.
Did you send it to me? Oh, you did. Okay. All right, let me.
All right, well, good evening. So tonight we're looking at Schoology, and we're looking at it from a parent perspective. Schoology is our learning management system, which means that it is an online place for teachers to put out the content and the assignments, as well as have their grade book so that parents can see what the assignments are, if their students are turning them in, what grades they're getting. So it's a great way to have communication between the teacher and the family.
Ms. Farrell, I don't have it.
Oh.
You might need to reshare it, I think.
I'll reshare it with you right now. The fun of technology.
As Ms. Burial is sharing the Schoology training with me so I can present for her, a quick reminder for those of you that are just entering the meeting, this meeting is being recorded, so make sure that if you have any personal questions specifically to your child, that you wait until in a more private environment. Okay, I received it. Let me get up.
So while she's getting that up on the screen, I just have to say that as a parent, I find that Schoology is something that you can't focus like on every day because then you get a little too focused on the Schoology and like that element versus how your kid is learning and growing in their classes. And so I use it as a springboard to start discussions. So for example, I might take a look and say, oh, what is, Miss Farrell doing in her science class, that my child is in. And I see that they're doing an experiment on, I don't know, ionic bonds or something to that effect. And so then I can start to talk to my child about that, because we all know when we ask, at least most of the children, what'd you learn in school today? How was your day? They're just like, right? They don't have any information to share. And so, so it helps you to have very specific questions. Ms. Gandhi,
can you see it? Are we?
Yeah, just hit present and then we're good. Thank you.
Sounds good.
Wonderful. All right, next slide, please. Okay, so the Family Success Guide is something that we have put together that has different slides, and we'll link that in this video as well. But it has different links that on how to start up your Schoology page, how to put in your students' code, and a variety of different things. So I just wanted to put that out there for you. All right, next slide, please. All right, so when you're logging on to Schoology as a parent, you're going to go to Schoology.com. If you go to our Natomas Charter School website, there is on the left sidebar, there's parent links, and you can go there and there's a link for parents to log on to Schoology. So what you do is you log in, and then up in the top right hand corner, you're gonna log in. If it's your first time, then you'll do a sign up. And then you'll have your password. The way that you get connected to your student and to Natomas Charter School is by using a code that the school sends out to you that is specific for each of your students. So when this gets posted, there's a little video there on how to sign up. So next one, please. All right, so all important is you're going to look at grades. So if you look at the red arrow in the right-hand corner, that is going to be how you know which student you're looking at, because you might have more than one student. And so over in the right-hand corner, it says VLA tests. And that's because I have a fake student that I've put into the system for this. And so you can toggle between your students if you have more than one by pressing on that little down arrow. Once you're sure that you have the right student, oops, back one, please. Thank you. You're going to look along the top header, and there is a tab for grades. So you'll click on that and then click on grade report. And that's how you get to the grades. Otherwise, what you see are the announcements. And so we have here an announcement that is a student activity one from our Library Media Center. And so that's a good way. It's kind of like the bulletin. I know when I was in school, they sometimes read it over the loudspeaker, or did something or posted it on the wall. And so this is a place for the bulletin and notifications. Okay, next slide, please. All right, once you are in the course, or into your grades on Schoology for your student, you're going to first look for the maroon or reddish colored title for the course. So the course we're looking at here is orientation. And so if you click on that, then it will open up the other elements. In Schoology, the categories are blue. So you'll see blue for the 2020-2021 fall semester. And then you'll see that there's an assignments category in this class. And then you'll see that the assignments are actually in black. And then you'll see the due date to the right at the end of the title. So you can see here how to look at the various grades. Down at the bottom, there's a course grade, but you can see if there are different categories that the teacher has set up. Then you can see a category grade for maybe like tests versus in-class assignments versus maybe presentations. And so you can see how your student is doing there. Next slide, please. All right. Once you start looking at the grade itself, you'll see here we only have one grade for this example. For assignment 1, creating, sharing, and submitting a document. You'll see if the student has to submit an assignment, there will be the blue arrows pointing at a little piece of paper is what it looks like. And so that's how you know that your student has actually submitted the assignment. If there's no piece of paper there, they have not done it. They may have thought they did, but then it means that you maybe need to help them go in, and oftentimes students will put it in there but not click the submit button. So it's just about training them to do that. The teachers can also give comments which if you look, the black arrow is pointing at. And so that could be like maybe your student, if they turned something in late, or maybe they had a comment about their work, or something to that effect. I've even seen teachers that will say, you know, on this assignment, if you want to redo it and for a higher grade, they'll put the comments in there. So that's a good place to look. Now, if you are looking at Schoology on a phone, one thing I learned the hard way is that you have to scroll over to the side to see those comments. So sometimes the way that it gets formatted on your phone is the comments are kind of off to the side, off the screen. And then you'll see the score, the 4 out of 5 there. So that shows you that the assignment has had a grade entered. And then if you see the assignments where it says with the green arrow, if there is just a line there, that means the teacher has not added a grade. It doesn't mean your student didn't do it necessarily. It just means the teacher hasn't inputted the grades yet. And so that's something to keep in mind, that it's not your student's fault, but it's the teacher needs time to actually read the material and grade it and put the grades in. Okay, next slide. All right, when you're choosing the course, so if you want to go in and see and say, okay, what's going on in my child's class, you'll click on the courses along the top, and then you'll see the list of your students' courses. So then you'll click on the course. So we're choosing the Orientation 2020. Next slide. All right, so many of the parents are wondering if you're like me and you're working and your child is at home doing their work, you might want to say, okay, is my child going to those online meetings? Are they making it to that? And so what you'll do once you get into the course is you'll click with the blue arrow. It says you'll click on grades, because that's how we keep track of those meeting attendance, because the students need to go to those meetings. So you'll see that there is an attendance category here with the black arrow. And then you'll see that there's meetings. So it says meetings, students review syllabus and slides, right? There's meetings, students review and discuss slides. There's a whole bunch of different meetings. And so what you'll be able to tell is the attendance will be the grade. So there's a Y listed there. And so the attendance grade will be green, just like it was in the other section. And for this, the meeting attendance will either be a yes, no, or the teachers may have it set up as a 0 means that they did not come, and a 1 means that they did come. But the meeting attendance grade does not actually impact the grade. It's just a way for us to track that the students are going to the meetings, and a way that you can see it through the grade book. So the section there on attendance or meeting attendance is just to let you know if they are attending, but it's not impacting their grade, because we know sometimes there's circumstances that make it difficult for a student to attend. Maybe their internet, or they're going through rolling blackouts in this time of forest fires. We don't want to hold that against the student, but it is very important that students are going to their meetings every single day so that they get the instruction and the feedback from their teachers. All right, next slide, please. All right, so if we look at course organization, when you go into a course, so this sample one we're looking at is US History, you'll see that all the materials are listed out in different folders. So we start with, there's a course information page, and then this teacher has a red folder that says course-wide materials. So those might be resources that the students use on a regular basis. Next, please. There we go. And so then each of the weeks throughout the school year are going to be in a separate folder. So here we're looking at week 2, and it'll have the dates next to it, so you don't have to remember the week number. Most likely your student will, because that's how they're going to be accessing all of their classes. And then you'll see that there are folders for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. Okay, can you click again, please? There we go. And if you click on the, say, Tuesday folder, you'll see this is what needs to be done on Tuesday. And so we've organized it by week and then by day, so that it's very clear this is the Tuesday work for the students. So you see here, that they have, their teacher has put in a daily plan. So that's a nice overview for the student to see what their day looks like. They have a warm up, they have a limits of liberty, analytics, and then they also have the meeting time. So that gives them a very clear idea of what needs to be done within that day. If you look at these assignments as well, you can tell that the first one that says Tuesday daily plan, that one has a link. And so that tells you that it's just linking to a site or maybe a Google Doc, whereas the other ones look like they have a little pencil and paper. And so that's the indicator that it is an assignment. And so that's a good place to look for what your students need to complete or attend as they're planning out their day.
Ms. Farrell, I'm going to pause you for a quick second so we can admit some families in. Sorry.
No problem.
You get in time.
Yeah,
and then they
I
have to
couldn't
let
even
you in.
understand like why.
I wonder if people are like chatting and contacting, hey, I need to get back in or something.
Okay. Back to sharing.
Screenshot.
Okay, here we go.
All right, next slide, please. Okay, so upcoming assignments. One great thing as you are looking at Schoology is that on the far right, they have a section called Upcoming. And this tells you what assignments are happening in the near future for your student. And it actually has it pulled out by day. This is where it can be very helpful to peek and look and see what the assignments are. I do this often so that I can ask my daughter some specific questions about what it is she's studying, so that I'm not asking that, how was your day, and getting the fine, you know, type of answer. And so you can go in, you can look at it, you know, see, you know, are they reading about, you know, maybe a book or a novel that you've heard about, or maybe, you know, I know world history is doing something where they're looking at who are the most influential people. So I can look at that and ask my, my daughter about that. So that's really a good place to know what's coming up for your child, help them plan, and then have those specific conversations. Okay, next one. Oh, and so this is just looking at, if you actually click on the assignment, then you can see more detail and then go in and see the assignment. Now here, if you look at this assignment, it looks like there's a link to a Google Doc. Now, if you were to click on that Google Doc, it's possible that maybe it'll say you don't have access. That is because the teacher has it shared as Natomas Charter School only, which allows the students through their Natomas Charter School email to be able to access it. But if you feel like it's something that would be beneficial for you to have, you can always click to request access, and then the teacher can respond to that. All right, next slide, please. All right. Calendar due date. So if you look in Schoology along the top, there is a little picture of like a little monthly calendar up on the top right. So if you click on that, and can you click please, Ms. Gandhi? Thank you. It will take you to a calendar version. And so you'll see there that there can be very long lists of assignments. So, you know, depending on if assignments are due at the end of the week or maybe on Tuesday or Monday, the list can look lengthy because it's all of your students' courses, the assignments that are there. So, so that can be a handy tool, but oftentimes with students, when they're taking a look at it, it can be a little bit overwhelming to see a long list there. And so it might be better for them to just go into the course and go into each day's folder and just look at one course at a time. So, and then keep in mind that some of these assignments are done in class. And so it's a listing of everything that's in Schoology and not necessarily all the homework that your student has. So it's not just a homework calendar. All right, next one, please. All right, so you can always message your the students' teachers through regular email using their Natomas Charter School email account. But you can also message them through the Schoology messages. And so there's a little envelope there at the top. And so if you click on that, you can do a new message, and that sends them a message right through Schoology, and it will also send them a notification email in their email box. So if you really prefer using Schoology to email the teachers, this is a handy way, and you know that it's getting to them. Okay, next slide.
And just real quickly about messages, there are some teachers who prefer email over Schoology, so just make sure that you reach out to the teacher and at least for the first few times, maybe ask them, do they prefer the Schoology messaging or the email? Sometimes Schoology is delayed, so they don't necessarily always get the notifications right away. So just as an FYI, just make sure you reach out to the teacher to figure out their preferred method.
And thank you. And that, that also brings up a very important thing that, we have an expectation for our staff that they get back to parents within 24 to 48 hours. And so please be aware of that. And I know sometimes, when it's our baby, and no matter how big or old they are, right, we want that answer right away. And we just ask that you, have some patience as the teachers, once they get home, are being parents as well, many of them. And so, they're not going to be on their email in the evenings. And we actually, especially with distance learning and all the tech time that we have, ask them to make sure that they're finding balance in their life. But they will get back to you because they do care about our students quite a bit and want to make sure that we're getting them everything that they need.
Yeah, and also just before we move on real quickly, going back to the calendar, we did receive some feedback that having all due dates on Fridays has been challenging for some of our families because, you don't see anything Monday through Thursday, and then all of a sudden you see a long list, as Ms. Burial was mentioning, for Fridays. So we are working on that to maybe change some things around. So you should see some changes next week. Pretty soon, you should see that the calendars are more spread out with assignments being due throughout the week. So just give us some time to meet as a team and figure those things out.
And that's actually a great point, Dr. Gandhi, is that this distance learning is something that we are working through and working with information from the state that they're just releasing in tiny bits to us. And so, we're constantly looking at how can we improve on what we're doing, making sure that it's supporting students and it's manageable for staff. And so, as always at Natomas Charter School, we're always looking to improve. So we do appreciate your feedback and are always adjusting. So, all right, next slide. Oh, I got ahead myself there. Oh, I must have made this last week. Okay, so there's also, once you click on the message, a new message button, then you'll just start typing the person's name and they'll pop up. And sometimes they even have a little picture for you. So, okay, next slide. All right, so this is the best part of Schoology, I think, as a parent, is that every week you get a Schoology report. And that is an overview of your child's week in Schoology. And so it gives you a course summary, so you can see what are the different classes that you have. And so this is another sample student. So we see here theater workshop has 100%, and we see that there are 3 assignments there. We see the scores out of them. I see that there's a Monday meeting. This sample student got 1 out of 1. That means that they attended the online meeting. That's excellent. And so it gives you an overview of that grade and how they're doing that. Next slide, please. And also in this weekly Schoology report, there's a section down below that has overdue submissions. And this is handy, especially in the beginning of the year, as the students are getting used to different classes, different teachers. And so this is where you can see what maybe wasn't turned in. So for example, this student had a class meeting synchronous 30 minutes. And it says it wasn't turned in. So to me, I think, was that maybe that maybe the teacher had it turned to have a submission put in there when really it wasn't? Because sometimes the meetings, it's just the teacher marking off that the student was there, or maybe it means that the student had to do like an activity as a part of that lesson and turn it in. And what I do when I look at this is I kind of ask my daughter and I say, did you have to turn anything in for this? Let's go check. Because sometimes it's that they had to take notes and they didn't realize they had to turn it in to show their teacher. And so you can go back to that assignment and then you can look and see if there's a place to submit something. So that's a very valuable part of the weekly Schoology report. All right, next one, please. All right, and then there's that upcoming section. And so similar to how you saw that on the right-hand side of the screen when you went in, it's also in that Schoology report. And once again, these are great talking points. For example, this sample student here has there's a discussion of what kind of teacher is Miss Farrell? Well, now I know I can ask her about Miss Farrell. How does she put her class together? What was your discussion? And so it gives you some real good fodder for a discussion. All right, next one, please. All right, so here we've had some frequently asked questions that Dr. Gandhi has been collecting, and so we have some responses here. So one common question is, what's the difference between what we were doing in spring, sometimes called crisis learning, and what we're doing now in distance learning? And so the spring learning was just on the fly. We had to just, over the weekend, start doing distance learning. And so the teachers were really figuring out online learning, as well as we were trying to be sensitive to the students and the needs and the tech. And so it was based on, us really just asking the students to work to raise their grades. But now this year with the state, and they came out with SB 98, is that attendance is required by students and grades are being figured out on a regular basis, much like it has been traditionally in the past. So it will go on their transcript. So it is very important that students are attending those meetings and that they are working on and doing their work. This is a common question. My student says an assignment is not overdue, but it's showing up in Schoology. So this is an automatic notification that the system sends once the due date has passed. It automatically sends it to you as the parent, and sometimes to the student. And so it's not the teacher sending a individual message to you. Teachers are expected to have their grades in by the following Wednesday. So for example, the work that the students are doing this week will be put into the grade books next Wednesday. That's their deadline for when they have to do it, because they need to have time to read and grade it. And so, it could be that the student had to submit something in another way, like maybe they were doing a Kahoot, or maybe they had to fill out a Google form and they did not submit anything. Could be something. And it could be that the teacher said, turn your assignment in on a Google form, and then they didn't uncheck the box on Schoology. So I always think it's best to go about asking about it with an inquiry, and then going with your student into the assignment to check and see if there is indeed a submit button, and then asking the teacher a question if it's not clear. All right, next one. Okay, here we go. So in the past, when we were trying to view documents as parents, assignments, rubrics, study guides, they found that the parents did not have access. This is because at Natomas Charter School, the students are given an NCS email, and that NCS email is protected within the Natomas Charter School bubble. And so what that means is that all of their schoolwork cannot be seen by outside people. And so that means that the assignments that the students are doing in class, they can't share with you because they can't email outside of the NCS group. And so if you're trying to look at your students' assignment that they've put in, you would have to open it up with your student where they can log in to see it. We do that to protect our students so that outside people can't get into the system or email our children. We wouldn't want them to have to deal with that kind of spam in their site. And if you're coming across maybe a rubric or a study guide that the teacher has posted, it means that they have it set to Natomas Charter School as well. In the past, it hasn't been as necessary to have those documents available to anyone that the teachers can set so that anyone can see the documents. But you know, this year I think it's going to be a process of figuring out what is most useful for you as parents to have access to support your students, since the students are working in distance learning. So it might be good to just communicate with your child's teacher or request access for different documents, and then we'll figure out what the best format is. It may change grade level by grade level. It might be different, you know, subject matter by subject matter. So that's a learning process. All right. Let's see. For the assignments due in calendar, do they drop off the students after they submit it, or only after approved by the teacher? So just submitting the assignment does not take it off of the calendar. That would be awesome if it did, because then they could just submit and then they would fall off the calendar like a little to-do list that's getting checked off. But alas, that's not how the system is set up. It's set up based on what gets assigned. So you'll have to make your own checklist as you go through that. All right, next one, please. Okay, frequently asked questions. What's the best way to ask teachers questions regarding an assignment or a grade? And here, you know, it's going back to what is it that teachers prefer. It could be to go into Schoology here and click on that little envelope again, or to email the staff directly. And there, I know Dr. Gandhi has sent out the staff directory. So there's lots of different options. The staff do have phone extensions in their classroom, but I would have to say that that's usually the least quick way to get to them, because they can't answer it while they're in the middle of teaching. And especially right now where it's smoky and some people are working from home, you know, it's best to do email or to message them in Schoology. All right. And so, of course, if you need more support, you can always call our front office. I put the phone number there, and we'll be happy to help you. You can go to our school website, natomascharter.org, or you can check out our YouTube channel. Natomas Charter School has a YouTube channel. We have a how-to playlist where we've been putting a lot of different videos. That's where you'll find the how to get yourself set up on Schoology, how to add your child to it, and some other playlists, videos that will be of value to you as a parent. And we continue to, as we get these kind of frequently asked questions, we'll make a video and we put it up there. So it's a great place to go. And you can also, in the other playlists, look at, you know, what were our promotion, you know, ceremonies like last year? You know, what are some of the different activities that we're doing? I know that at PFAA we have some amazing arts teachers that are looking to see what are different ways for our students to perform, and how do we get that out to people. And so I know that there's going to be some great things that will be coming through the YouTube channel. So it's another great resource. All right, and I think that takes us to the end of our slideshow. Ms. Farrell, do we have any questions?
Yes, actually we do. So I'll summarize sort of the things that we've been talking about in the chat. The first one's probably specific to Ms. Gandhi, and that's due date consistency. There are parents that are confused on 5 versus midnight, 5 p.m. versus midnight. And there's some concern that a 5 p.m. Friday deadline makes it difficult for a student who gets an assignment last period of the day, Friday, to still get it done on time. So the most important request from parents is clear communication. Whatever the policy ends up being, they just feel that if they know the policy, that they can work with it.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely. So if I may, yeah. So with regards to the deadlines, we hear you. And so starting next Monday, each of the teachers will have their own due dates, and they will be setting them, and they will also be adding them to their Schoology pages as well. So that will hopefully help with the confusion. Our process of having one due date to be on Fridays was to really support our families to so that students are able to work on assignments throughout the week. However, I think what ended up happening was their calendars become inundated with many assignments all due on the same day. So we are definitely working on that this week. You will receive an update on Friday with specific information about due dates to best support you. So just stay tuned till Friday, and then you should have more information and more clarity as well moving forward.
Okay, another question that came up is that some parents were wondering if in the notifications, and I don't know if this is something Schoology does or if we have to do, if we can add course names so that they could look at it and know immediately that it's math or PE or chemistry that's sending the notification out when they get like an overdue notification or things like that. And I'm not sure if that's a setting that we can change or not.
That has been an annoyance for me as well. I hear you on that. And so that's not anything that I found a setting for, but it's my continual journey as they come out with new updates and things to find that. And if we can get that to happen, by golly, I will, because I've shared that frustration before as well, because then it makes you open up the assignment and you have to go into the website or into the app and all of that. That being said, the app is actually a third-party app. It's not actually designed by Schoology. And so there are some things where there can be a little bit of a delay when you're using the app, and some things are not as smooth as if they were, if the app were made by Schoology themselves. So there are some odd things, kind of like I had to scroll over to see the teacher comments.
Right, and I would just add that the Schoology app can be cumbersome when you start to get a lot of information. There's a lot of scrolling and a lot of looking down lists. Mm-hmm. So if you have a pretty specific question, it might be worth your effort to find a laptop to look at it on.
Yeah.
That's why I do it privately.
And I think that those were the questions that sort of came up that I wasn't able to just immediately give feedback and answers to. I think the main one was the sort of inundation of due dates and how that was going to play out was the main concern that we had in the chat box.
Okay. Oh, one thing that I can't remember for parents, but when you sign into Schoology, if it's sending you a whole lot of notifications, if you click on your name in the top right-hand corner, there is a settings option, and if you go in there, you can actually set notifications so that you choose what things you want sent to you for notifications. I've had the parent view now for 5 years, so I can't remember if I had to go in and do that or not, but if you feel like you're getting inundated, they always try to set you up with lots of information, so that can be something to look at.
All right. Any other questions? If not, thank you for attending. We hope this training was helpful to you. And it seems like the calendar is a hot topic. So stay tuned until Friday. On Friday in my weekly update, you will be receiving some more clarity with due dates as well. And so just hang in there until Friday. Give us until Friday to meet as a team and streamline it for the families. If there's not any other questions, I'm going to go ahead and end this session and thank Ms. Burial and Ms. Farrell for helping me run this today. And I hope you found this to be helpful. Thank you. Bye-bye now.
Bye.